Hello and welcome to our very first journey where we are going to be making ASCII games. It is because in high school I used to enjoy writing custom console applications, and it is where I've started learning to code. It was using C and later on C++, but at the end of high school I started learning C Sharp and I really enjoyed it and started making games like tic-tac-toe, Sudoku and similar. It was a very enjoyable time for me. I wanted to relive that, but I wanted to do something a bit more advanced this time. The goal is to do something similar to this style, so I just want to make console games where characters represent some different roles. For example, here probably this caret sign is something where you can move, and this can be a shop or something, so each character is a separate entity. And for example, these dots are places where you can walk, these are the walls, and so on. For now, let's focus on what I want to achieve in this challenge, or shall I say journey. What I want to do is stay away from complicated object-oriented code, and I want to focus on simplicity and just use functional programming or something like that. I want to have many static classes and pass different objects around. So they will mostly be structures because I don't want any logic in them, just to hold data. This is what I want to make. It is like a game engine, sort of, for very simple console games. The goal is to have a data class. Its function will be to do I/O, which is input and output. Then we want to have a game class, and this class will just hold the game loop and logic, handling inputs, player-specific logic, holding state for players and enemies, and so on. We will figure this out as we go. Then we will have a screen class. The purpose of the screen class is to draw on the screen, nothing else. We want to expose a 2D buffer, which will only hold drawing information. So at point X and Y, we want to have a specific character, and that's it. Another thing which we want to implement is sections. So for example, if we take a look over here, this is the game section, and this is some UI section. So we want to support multiple sections at once. So when, for example, the player hits an enemy or an enemy hits the player, we can just make some changes on the UI. For example, lower the player's health. Then we want to have an entity class, and this is going to hold logic for movement and interaction of different entities and tiles, for example, walls or something like that. We will handle logic based on the type of that tile. Then we want to make a generator class. This class will focus on the generating logic. For example, generating something on a screen. If we have a snake game, we want to be able to tell it to generate an apple randomly somewhere where there is a walkable area. These are all the structures with all the data that we need right now. If we want to add or remove something, we will do it as we go. I've implemented these on Windows machine, but now I'm working on a Mac. And this is a problem because if we look at the C# console API, it doesn't allow setting window width and window height on platforms other than Windows, and it's going to be a problem for us. Fortunately, there is a simple library which allows us to draw stuff on screen, create windows, and similar. The simple library that we want to use to draw to the screen is Raylib. Raylib is a simple to use library which is made for video game programming, but I want to use it for drawing text to the screen for now, and later we might use sprites instead of characters, but we will see as we go. Raylib supports various different programming languages. It was written in C, so that's why it can basically export to any platform, but we will use bindings for C# to keep things very simple. Nice thing about Raylib is that it has a cheat sheet, and here you can see all of the functions that it has, and it is nicely separated into different modules. So we have the core module, shapes, textures, text. We'll mostly be probably dealing with this one, models, audio, structs. We might reuse those. That's it for the introduction. In the next episode, we are going to clone the repository and write some code. Thank you for watching and have a great day.